Sam and Clara's Magical Meadow Adventure. In the quiet town of Brookhaven, surrounded by wide fields and gentle hills, lived a boy named Sam and his friend Clara. They loved spending their afternoons exploring the meadow at the edge of town. The meadow was a special place, a vast sea of golden grasses that swayed in the wind, dotted with colourful wildflowers that seemed to smile up at the sun. It was a place where they could let their imaginations roam free. One sunny afternoon, Sam and Clara decided to go further into the meadow than they had ever gone before. Clara, with her adventurous spirit, always liked to see what lay beyond the familiar, while Sam, though a bit cautious, loved following along and discovering new things by her side. As they walked, Clara pointed to a small cluster of trees in the distance. "I bet there's something interesting over there," she said, her eyes shining with excitement. Sam nodded, a smile spreading across his face. "Let's find out," he said, feeling a little thrill of adventure. The two friends set off across the meadow, the grasses whispering around their ankles. Birds swooped overhead, their songs filling the air, and butterflies danced from flower to flower. Sam picked a bright yellow daisy and handed it to Clara, who tucked it behind her ear, smiling. When they reached the cluster of trees, they found something they had never seen before. Nestled between the roots of the largest tree was a small door, a round wooden door with a brass handle. It was just big enough for them to fit through if they crouched down. Clara's eyes widened in wonder. "Who do you think lives here?" she whispered. Sam shook his head, equally intrigued. "Only one way to find out," he said, echoing Clara's adventurous words from earlier. Clara reached for the handle and gently pulled the door open. Inside they found a cozy little room. There was a table with tiny chairs, a bookshelf filled with tiny books, and a small fireplace with a pot hanging above it. Everything looked like it was made for someone very small. "It's like a little house," Clara said, her voice filled with awe. Sam nodded, looking around. "Do you think anyone's home?" Just then they heard a rustling sound, and from behind the bookshelf emerged a small, furry creature. It looked like a mouse, but it walked on two legs and wore a little vest. The mouse blinked up at them, its whiskers twitching. "Oh, visitors!" the mouse said in a tiny, squeaky voice. "My name is Oliver. Welcome to my home!" Clara gasped in delight. "Hello, Oliver. I'm Clara, and this is my friend Sam. We didn't mean to intrude." Oliver smiled, his whiskers twitching in a friendly way. "No intrusion at all. I don't get many visitors out here. Would you like some tea?" Sam and Clara exchanged a glance, both of them grinning. "We'd love some tea," Sam said. Oliver scurried over to the fireplace, where he began to prepare the tea. Clara and Sam sat down on the tiny chairs, which were surprisingly sturdy. Clara looked around, her eyes wide with wonder. "This place is amazing," she said softly. Oliver returned with 3 tiny cups of tea, balancing them carefully on a tray. He set them down on the table, and Sam and Clara each took a cup, holding them delicately. The tea was warm and fragrant, and it made them feel cozy inside. "What brings you to my part of the meadow?" Oliver asked, sipping his tea. Clara shrugged, smiling. "We were just exploring. We like to see new places." Oliver nodded. "That's a good way to be. There's so much to see if you just take the time to look." They talked for a while, sharing stories of their adventures in the meadow and listening to Oliver tell them about his life in the little house. He told them about the other creatures that lived nearby. The family of rabbits that lived under the hill, the hedgehog who loved to bake pies, and the squirrel who was always gathering acorns. Sam listened, feeling a sense of wonder. It was like they had discovered a whole new world, right here in the meadow they thought they knew so well. After a while, Oliver stood up and went to the bookshelf. He pulled out a small book and handed it to Clara. "This is for you," he said. "It's a book of stories about the meadow. I think you'll like it." Clara took the book, her eyes shining. "Thank you, Oliver. We'll take good care of it." Oliver smiled. "I know you will, and you're welcome to come back anytime. The door is always open for friends." Sam and Clara finished their tea, then said their goodbyes. They crawled back out through the little door, and as they stood up, they looked back at the tree. The door was still there, a reminder of the magical place they had found. As they made their way back across the meadow, Clara held the little book close to her chest. "Today was amazing," she said, her voice full of happiness. Sam nodded, a smile on his face. "It really was. I can't believe we met a talking mouse." Clara laughed. "And had tea in his little house." The sun was starting to set, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. The meadow seemed to glow in the soft light, and Sam felt a deep sense of contentment. It had been a simple day, but it was one he knew he would remember forever. "Do you think we'll see Oliver again?" Sam asked as they walked. Clara smiled. "I hope so. And maybe next time we can meet the rabbits or the hedgehog." Sam nodded. "Yeah, I think there are a lot more adventures waiting for us out here." They walked back to the edge of the meadow, the little book of stories tucked safely in Clara's hands, and the memory of their adventure warm in their hearts. It was a day filled with wonder, and they knew that as long as they had each other, every day held the possibility of something magical, even if it was just a simple walk through the meadow.